Calisthenics is not only about push-ups, pull-ups and squats. Besides from very advanced movements, there are a lot of exercises which can be done on an intermediate level. These ones are not only impressive, they will also train your body in a comprehensive way and will improve your strength, balance and coordination. The first exercise on our list is the typewriter pull-up. We highly recommend to do this exercise on rings instead of on a pull-up bar, because rings are not fixed and can move independently. You don't have to change your grip or replace your hands. The typewriter pull-up is a mix between a static and a dynamic exercise. First of all, you pull yourself up with both arms. Then you fix one arm as close as possible to your body and extend the other arm. The more you extend your arm, the more your body weight has to be held by the bent arm. But the straight arm will still support holding yourself in the top position. That's why the strength output is much lower as in the bent arm, due to the longer lever. Don't extend your arm too quick if you are not used to this movement. If you do it slowly, your bent arm can adapt much better to the higher load than if you would straighten up your arm too quick. It's also possible to start this exercise with a slightly bent, instead of a complete straight arm to get used to this position. Later, when you get stronger, you can extend your arm completely. Of course, you should do this on both sides equally to avoid imbalances. There are also two different ways to do this movement. You can either just switch between the left and right arm in the top position, or do a regular pull-up, one typewriter pull-up and repeat. The next exercise is the L-sit. The L-sit is a mix between push, core and leg strength, and you need a certain amount of mobility to do it. First of all, you need a solid support hold with tucked knees. Push your shoulder blades down and extend, but not overextend, your elbows. If you are able to hold this position, you can start with single leg extensions. Do it dynamically in the beginning, and later when you progress, you can integrate single leg holds. If you are able to hold this position, you can do leg extensions with both legs. The principle stays the same. Start with a dynamic execution and integrate holds when you get better. As you can see, we do the L-sit on parallettes. This has advantages but also disadvantages. The final goal is the L-sit on the ground, but this is an advanced version of this exercise. If you do the L-sit on the ground, you need enough strength to push your body up, and you will also need a better mobility in your legs. If you do it on parallettes, you have more space between you and the ground. This is an advantage for beginners because you can hold your legs below horizontal and you also don't have to push your body as high as on the ground. The disadvantage is that you can cheat much easier on parallettes. On the ground, it will force you to push yourself up as high as possible, and it will also force you to raise your legs higher as you have to do it on parallettes. It's normal that you can get cramps in your thighs when you are not used to this movement. The reason for this is that a part of your quads is responsible for the leg extension in this position. You need a good straight leg strength to do it. If you want to know more about straight leg strength and mobility, you can check our 2 underrated exercises video. The link can be found in the description. We will also release a mobility program in the next month, which will show you how to improve your mobility for the whole body. So stay tuned for that. The third exercise on our list is the skin the cat. Here you try to pull yourself up with straight arms and do almost a 360-degree rotation. The front part will work your lats, abs, traps and the long head of your triceps, while the back part will focus on your delts and chest. As a beginner, it's really important to tuck your legs as close to the body as possible. This will not only work your abs, it will also make the movement easier. The more you extend your legs, the bigger the lever gets. And the bigger the lever gets, the harder this movement will be. There are 2 points of this movement which are really hard for the most people. The first one is the straight arm pull at the beginning. If you aren't able to do this, you can do it with bent arms in the beginning and do it with straight arms when you got stronger. It's also possible to do bent arms when you pull up and with straight arms when you let yourself down. The second point in which most people struggle is the back part. Most people are not used to this position, but the shoulder extension offers many benefits. Exercises like L-sits, ring muscle ups, Russian dips and many others will benefit from it. We suggest you to increase the range of motion step by step and let your shoulders time to adapt to this position. When it comes to the hand placement, you can do the skin the cat with an overhand or an underhand grip. The underhand grip will allow a wider range of motion, but it will put much more pressure on your biceps, because it gets tensed very hard in this straight arm position. This can be good if you want to develop straight arm bicep strength, but if you're not used to do it, don't overdo it and let your tendons enough time to adapt. It's also possible to do jumping skin the cats. Here you simply skip the hardest parts of the movement and work yourself up by developing strength in the middle part to increase the range of motion and decrease the jump step by step. Now we move on to the bent arm handstand. The bent arm handstand is an easier version of the normal handstand, at least when it comes to the balance. For beginners we suggest to do it on parallettes because it's much easier to do as on the ground. Due to the bent arm position, your body is not in a complete vertical line, but it's still straight itself. Don't confuse it with a shoulder stand, in which your shoulders have contact to the bars. When you do the bent arm handstand, you hold yourself up with the strength of your traps, chest, triceps and shoulders slightly above the bars. To be able to do this exercise, you don't only need strength, but also balance and body control. The easiest progression of this movement is the tucked version. Here you move yourself from a support hold with tucked knees to a tucked bent arm handstand. Imagine it like a lean in which your elbows stay in nearly the same position, but the rest of your body rotates around them. Don't just hang in your structures, but push your shoulder blades forward to stabilize your shoulder girdle. If you are able to do the tucked version, you can try it with one leg, later with straddled legs, and finally the full version. Here it's really important to do this movement slowly and controlled. If you do it too quick, you have no chance to stabilize your body and the risk to fall over is much higher. If you're not used to this movement, do it with parallettes close to the ground or with a partner. In this way you will avoid failures or injuries. It's also possible to combine this movement with the L-sit. Here you can do both movements in one exercise, and of course it's possible to do it with all progressions we showed you before. The last exercise is the elbow lever. Don't confuse it with a planche in which you hold yourself up with straight arms. This is much harder and more of an advanced movement. When it comes to the elbow lever, you use your elbows as a resting and balancing point for your body. First, let's take a look at the hand placement. You can place your hands with fingers pointing backwards or to the side. Normally it's the most comfortable position to point the fingers backwards, but it can vary from person to person. If you have problems with your wrist flexibility or if you are not used to this kind of pressure, we suggest to do our wrist preparation training routine. The complete video is linked in the description. Now you have to find the right position for the elbows. Place them right above your hips and push them into your belly. When it comes to the width, you can place them either to the side or more to the middle of your body. The placement of the elbows can also vary from person to person, but the important thing is that your body has to rest on them. To balance your body, you go into the elbow lever position, but leave your feet on the ground. Now you move slowly forward step by step and lift your feet off the ground slowly. If they fall back down, you have to lean a bit more forward. Do this until you find the right position to stay in balance. If you like this kind of exercises and need some help with the right programming for your training, you should check out our website and get yourself the level 1 to 5 program. Click here now and choose the program that fits best for you. If you have any further questions, just let us know in the comments. Thanks, Alex.